Welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we have got a new Sea of News update, and we are going to be talking about some of the big changes that a lot of folks are having some issue with. We're going to be talking about some of the new Twitch drops, as well as some clothing and some stuff coming to the Emporium. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before I go into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They are the ones that are supporting this content to help make it possible for you to enjoy this ad-free, as well as helping me get upgrades and continue the service over on Podbeam and Spotify, just about anywhere else. So thank you to them. As such, I like to have people head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to show their support if you want. You can always join us at the Captain tier to jump into the end of the month episode. Other than that, we have the guild going on as well too. Still some spots in the second one as people kind of help raise up those levels. So definitely, if you're interested in that, feel free to let me know. We'll see if I can get you an invite if necessary, if you haven't already. And with that, let's shout out the patrons. So thank you to Adorable, L Cute, A Potted Plant, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Captain Hayes, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Neuf, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Fergatron, Godhammer 6, Jorby Jorbs, J Hood, Carl Embo, Kylea the Aficionado. I don't know why I always do that. Cryptic Slayer, Lumpy SRQ, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Murphy Lives, Mutinous Max, Norwegian, Registella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Scamelt 666, Captain Dasm, Tommy D, TN Professor, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Captain J Rad of the Flaming Cold Sore, The Lore Chronologist Deadeye Dre, Hager Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, and Zam. Wow. Thank you all so much for your love and support. If you guys are looking to get some time in on the seas with me, let me know. Let's see if we can get some scheduled out galleons and stuff like that. So with that, pirates, let's get into it. First up on today's docket, we have an update coming on August 22nd. The latest Sea of News update has dropped. The video has come back. We do have some news about what's going to be happening, and it's interesting to find out that some of the stuff that was expected to be rewards for events are now going to be moving to the actual Pirate Emporium. Little distinction there. If you've already got it, then you should be fine. But they are going to be moving that stuff to the store to try and have more people engage with that content, see if they can get some sales on the sales effectively. So some of the things that you can expect that are going to be making their way are the Borderlands Mayhem ship set. This is something that I think has already come to the Emporium. This was something that I believe was something on the 2020 summer. Around this time, they had an event where you could actually acquire all of those. I want to say this was one of those ones where they just wanted you to get ruby gems, but I can't quite know. I think this was tied to kegs. You had to blow stuff up because it was Mayhem and it was for Borderlands, and they wanted you to do some sort of keg explosion event. I think this even kind of fell in line with the Summer Olympics. So I want to say this was 2020 because the Summer Olympics, I think, are on a 4-year cycle, because they usually do winter then summer. So yeah, back in 2020. And ironically enough, this is also when the Borderlands movie has launched into theaters. I don't think that there are a lot of people that are going to go see this. So far it's been critically panned. And I don't think that there's a lot of people that are actually planning to go and check this out. As of right now, I think it is sitting at 7% rotten. Let me take a quick peek here and see. Nope, it is actually going to be at 9% with 99 reviews, which that's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. A movie like this being at so low with such a good cast really does kind of show that this was not something that anyone really knew going into it was something that people wanted. Either the writing is bad, or there's too much CGI, or this is just a cash grab. But you've got, people like Kate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana Grande, or not Ariana Grande, Ariana Greenblatt. What is that right? Okay. Anyway, Eli Roth is director. Eli Roth, someone who's made some good movies in the past, but obviously like very interesting films. I think Inglourious Bastards, the reboot, by Guillermo del Toro, or no, Quentin Tarantino, I think is kind of one of the biggest standouts for a lot of folks. Just very odd in general, honestly, but audience are scoring this 50%. Tomatoes has got it at a 9. Yeah, that's a bummer. He did, and it's really weird. I don't know, but the Mayhem set came out back in 2020 when I think this movie was intended to originally be launched, and there was a weird partnership that just kind of came out of nowhere, and we were kind of like, why do they have a Borderlands kind of like set coming to Sea of Thieves when Borderlands is, it's Take-Two, it's Gearbox, it's not even tied to Xbox at all, so it's kind of weird. But these are all choices that are made. So I'm not too worried about this. I think that it's interesting that they're bringing these sets to the Emporium. They're also bringing the Omen ship set, which was tied to Gears of War, which is an interesting time to do this because obviously a lot of people are excited about the Gears of War E-Day announcement that came back on the June Xbox showcase. But to move this ship set to the Emporium now seems like an odd time. To me, it feels like this would be better suited for something that's going to be tied to when E-Day actually comes out, or there's some sort of update to one of the other Gears games, whether it be like an upscaling, a remake, something like that, or even just when they actually did the announcement for Gears of War with E-Day. They could have very easily have timed that so that E-Day was announced and then Gears of War Omen ship set would be coming to the Emporium, so you could could show your sport the Lancer figurehead for that. So very interesting. Not sure really what's going on, why this is the case, but if this is kind of what they're planning on doing, then they're just going to be trying to get more and more revenue from that actual store. They're also coming out with a new weapon set. They've actually got a couple new things coming in, but the Stonebark Carpenter's weapon set is something that is going to be moving into the Emporium. I think this set actually looks pretty good. I think it's nice. I think they've got a good look to it. Kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones with the Cup and the Carpenter, where it's just very unassuming, but it still kind of looks nice. So wouldn't be surprised if Chapman had a little bit of influence on this. They've also got the Motley Mariner costume set, the drum, and the ship set, which I think this is honestly, it is very court jester looking out, like Harlequin? Yeah, like a Harlequin doll look. Very, it's intended to look very much like a clown. But I think this is getting closer and closer to One Piece. I'm trying to think the character's name in One Piece. Buggy is the character, the kind of clown pirate, or star clown. And you can tell based on, the information, Buggy the Star Clown from One Piece, and looking at this actual set, that they are looking to kind of bring a little bit of that One Piece style or themes or concepts into Sea of Thieves, just little by little. Obviously, the giant, big, grinning clown face on the main sails, with the addition to the kind of star cutout in the front sail. They are most definitely trying to allude that they can try and get some One Piece content into Sea of Thieves, not necessarily in the way that I think a lot of folks would prefer, because I think if you're looking at Buggy the Clown, it's definitely, he's got that big hat, a lot of red and white stripes and stuff. He's got a big red nose, and they're trying to do something like that, but not necessarily go so close that they have to worry about licensing issues, copyright infringement, things like that. So I would like for them just to be able to get those licenses. It feels like if they're coming out with Gears of War and Mayhem for One Piece, or not for One Piece, for Borderlands, like why not start to try and work on getting the One Piece characters set up so that they can actually bring in costume sets that are better reflected as like Buggy the Star Clown, or like Zero, some of the other One Piece, Luffy, kind of some of the One Piece characters. I'm learning. I don't know all of this, but it's kind of nice that they are bringing that, as well as like the trinket and stuff, into the game, so that if you are a fan of this character, then you're going to have an opportunity to kind of build in like a costume set or use the weapons, have a little bit of that One Piece flavor in the moment. I think that we are going to be obviously getting more as we get closer and closer to any kind of like obvious connection to One Piece, but it's nice that they're doing this. It's always coming back to the fact that it's going to be Emporium. I don't know if they're ever going to do anything in game for One Piece that will be kind of like a direct reference to it. But for the time being, they're at least going to try and set this up so that you can have kind of the references to One Piece in Sea of Thieves now. So kind of interesting. It's an interesting step forward as they try and get more and more engagement out of players in the Emporium for the just like purchases and stuff. Some of the other things that are going to be coming to the Emporium on this update is the Idle Conversationalist emote bundle, which looks pretty nice. I think it'll be great for those of us that are looking to do more entries into the Pirate SOT shot contest. Again, just a reminder, Liza LaRue over on the forums does offer her own SOT shot style competition that does offer the Obsidian capstan as one of the rewards for that. So if you guys are wanting that, and there's plenty of you that do, always go to the forums, take a look. She always posts it like every month or so. There's something going on, and in the Discord there is always the announcement in there as well too. But aside from that, the free emote that they're bringing to the Emporium is the red card emote. This is tied to soccer/football. So if you're looking to get something for that, given the SOT shot recently, where they actually just did the winners for the sporting SOT shot contest, this probably would have been a really good one, would have fit in really, really well. Outside of that, they've got the King's Ransom weapon bundle set, which looks beautiful, as well as the ship crest, and a new addition to the owls that just recently got brought to the game, the Ashen Curse owl. And I believe those are all the things that are going to be coming to the Pirate Emporium on the 22nd. Things that are going to be coming to the actual clothing shop seem to be smaller in sets. They're doing 4 different tops now that I believe have different colors. So if you want to take a look at those, they're nondescript, just kind of bandana style like tops. Not really a good way to really describe them. So best thing to do is kind of check the show notes. I'll have a link to the video if you want to take a look at that. Let me see if I can actually get the timestamp for that. I believe that is going to be, gosh, where is that? Moments at Gears Emporium stuff. Nope. It must have been, yeah, I was right at the beginning. Okay, so new outpost stock. The outpost stock starts at about 34 seconds in, and they kind of show off that. So probably about 40 seconds in when they actually show off the little tops that they've got. You know what it kind of reminds me of? I'm not going to lie. It kind of reminds me of the look that Ariel has in The Little Mermaid, if it were just the top and not like the tattered sails. But that's, I don't know. I haven't looked at that. Like, I haven't watched that movie in a long time, so I'm probably just going off of memory, and it's probably not even what's actually happening in that case. But so 4 of those tops. It looks like it's a blue, white, red, and is that no, purple? I'm gonna call that a purple. I don't know. Lighting's weird. I'm gonna call it purple and go off of that. They've also got a stylish Simeon courtly jacket, which is actually really nice. I actually really dig it. I think they did a nice job with kind of the filigree, if you will, on the arms and cuffs, as well as the little Simeon, like almost 12 monkeys looking embossment on the back of the jacket. So Aside from that, we've also got the Twitch drops that are from the 21st through to the 28th. This is going to provide people the Eastern Winds Sapphire Bejeweled Gloves, wrap dress, and pristine jacket, as well as the Stalwart Sea Dogs Tankard. I really love these Twitch drops. I think these trip drops, granted, yes, they are part of the Eastern Winds set. I think everyone's kind of tired of the Eastern Winds theme. I think we most definitely need to get a new theme. There's so many other themed types of clothing that they have in the art book that they haven't really like delved into that I think would be fantastic. So other than that, I don't know. I think that there's a good chance that they need to kind of like just take some of that and actually put it in. People probably jump into Twitch drops a lot better. Outside of that, I'm trying to think. They still have the Xbox Game Pass drop or ultimate perk. That is still available. I actually need to send a support ticket in, and that is ending on the September 28th. If it's been more than 48 hours since you redeem that, I would recommend doing what some other folks have had to do, where you grab a redemption screenshot of on your Microsoft account, open up a ticket onto SOT support, go and let them know like, hey, I haven't actually received this, but I did redeem it. They'll check that against your account and then apply the credit or the cosmetics to that. So if you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate perk member, you will get that Obsidian Rapier, as well as the Obsidian Pocket Watch and the figurehead. All nice pieces, but I think everyone is kind of looking to fill out the rest of their Obsidian set with that rapier. And I need to send in a support ticket because I was looking for it the other day whilst doing something that, you know, we'll get into the other stuff, the Ashen Expedition stuff in a little bit. But I was looking for that sword, could not find it, and I was a little bummed. So I'm most definitely going to need to send in a ticket to let them know, because I've had the watch and the figurehead for quite some time, no pun intended, and I'll have to see if they can get me that rapier. Next on today's docket, let's talk about the news that we got from Drew Stevens, the production director over at Rare. Fantastic to see him coming in with some much needed news. Apparently the team that is currently working on building out fixes for the game and stability are doing really well. They are looking to start addressing some of the specific improvements that they know may take some time, but first on the list is going to be game stability. They want to focus in on crash rates, as well as just how stable the game is with rubber banding and hitching. That is top priority for them right now. Now that other things like silent boarding are kind of addressed. So as always, with this being a live service game, they are going to need to continue to stay on top of these different types of tasks. But I think that we can all agree that having them focus on the stability and crash rates are going to be key to ensuring that players are having a good experience. Even if they may not like all the changes or the content that's currently in the game, it should be as solid as possible for folks to enjoy. They are going in to actually deal with some of the fine-tuning experience for the Burning Blade, as we all know that it can be pretty strong, but given that this is a world event, I would expect nothing less. It should be something that should draw in multiple crews. I did get to go through this experience the other day and go and complete all 6 of the little emplacements, the little skeleton forts. And I can't call them skeleton forts, can we? What were they called? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going into it. That experience is really great. I've actually really enjoyed my time with that. We completed the 8 until I realized that I need to have my skeleton curse for that to count. RIP. Another thing I don't like about Hourglass is now commendations tying the experience of New World events to having those curses. Again, just don't like the experience in Hourglass. I've have plenty of folks that want to pull me in, and I appreciate that. It's just one of those, I have to be in the right mindset to be able to suffer through it. So real shame there. The other aspect of this is that they are going to be trying to fix the ability, or they did go in and actually fix the ability for people to take advantage of an exploit. This is something that they said was on them. Again, this goes into one of those things that if it is an exploit, they will be changing it and then, letting people know that you can't do this. And they have done this, that they've put in a patch to fix it relatively fast in comparison. A lot of people said it wasn't fast enough. It was literally days after that they had a fix for it, where they were able to have people. I know kind of what the process is, but I don't know enough about it to really speak to it. But it did involve kind of tricking the servers into whether or not the person is actually there or not. But this is one of those things that apparently 200,000 players took advantage of it. That brought in about 300 billion gold into the economy. So not only is progress going to be removed for those players, other players may be impacted based on gold, but the severity could result in up to suspension of time on the account. One of the things that Drew said is that if you see something like this, report it, don't use it, and don't share it. Or kind of expect that actions may be taken against your account. They don't want people using exploits if this is something that's going to be considered an exploit. A lot of this is one of those things where if you can't do it through the normal means of just the interaction, chances are it's something that may be considered an exploit. And if you do something like that, you're probably going to run the risk of dealing with the consequences. A lot of kids out there probably don't care about their account. Some of us have very expensive accounts sitting here and probably don't want to jeopardize all the purchases we've made to lose an account over something that is temporary, especially something as dumb as gold or commendation progress. So just be warned that that's kind of what's going in there. They're also looking to try and take care of some of the issues that revolve around people in control of the burning blade being able to freely cash in and close out their burning blade experience while in the middle of combat. Something that a lot of people have been saying they think is unfair is that you can go and vote down the burning blade as long as you're within range, even if you're in combat. Given that this is a world event, the idea there is that you have to win or lose in the situation. You either fight a crew and you win, or you fight a crew and you lose. You should not be fighting a crew and then be able to just disconnect the experience. Give players the opportunity to actually win the burning blade if they are attempting to it. Otherwise, sink them and then freely go close out your session with the burning blade. I had a really fun experience the other day with the burning blade. I was running around and we were kind of I was playing with a chick and her and I were just kind of going around doing some of the different things in the game. I think we were working on Ashen Expeditions, which actually were very fun. I gotta say the Ashen Expeditions I think are something that need to actually happen in the game, like period. They just need to be something that is consistently in the game. I really like them. I think that Rare found a good way to drive content in them. So if they have, if they're going to be doing anything to kind of bring more attention to the roar, I really do think that would actually be a great way to do it with these Ashen messages in a bottle. The Ruby Stinger Rapier is beautiful. I really like it. And going out there, there's been so many interesting things. It's something that it's going on till the 15th of August. So you definitely have some time to do this. You do have to do 5 of these. So make sure that you're getting out there. Make sure you're looking for those glints on the seabeds, or on the sand, just try and find them. Lots of really good treasure. Actually, I really, really like this. It is a time limited thing. I like when they do some of these time limited events that actually reward cosmetics. I think it's a great way to offer cosmetics as opposed to having them just kind of put into the store, especially if they're going to be expanding different types of cosmetic sets. For example, we do have like the Ruby Stinger like swords already. So having the rapier available through this event, really love that. I think it's a great way to kind of send people out to areas that, drive engagement with things like the Ashen Roar. It's a lot of fun. So definitely went out, did 5 of these, had a good time with it, and then went to go do a couple of the little skeleton things for the flaming blade or for the burning blade that you can actually go and stop the ritual. So I went and did a couple of those. And we had a really fun experience where there was a burning blade that was up. No one had been touching it. We went and did one of the little ashen fort things and stopped the ritual. And when we came back up, the burning blade was kind of between Daggertooth Outpost and Isle of Last Words. And I swear this thing had been doing donuts in the parking lot like a bunch of kids on spring break for about 30 minutes. And I can't believe that not only did it not aggro onto us where we were over at Blind Man's Lagoon, just kind of, working on that ritual, but no one else came to claim it. So we were like, all right, well, end of the session, go turn in. And then we sailed over, took down the burning blade, immediately kind of inched it over to Daggertooth Outpost, sold the Fort of Fortune or sold the Chest of Fortune. And then that was the end of the session. I got some really good photos with it, but there was definitely something going on with that crew, man. They were just like, hey, you know what's going to be fun? Just doing donuts. We're just going to do donuts in the middle of this area, for fun, just to kind of taunt everyone to come by. The burning blade does in fact use the Ashen's roar when you're in front of it. Could have been a good decision, could have been a bad decision. Turned out to be a bad decision. That was a lot of fire on a sloop. So yeah, just be aware of that. If you're looking to take it over, maybe don't go directly in front of it when you're trying to take it down, because that can be kind of annoying. The next item that we got from the Sea News video is probably going to be one of the most controversial ones, as it deals with combat meta in a world where we have just recently had the noise to board or silent board be addressed. We are now getting changes to the actual blunderbuss. The blunderbuss 10 pellets will no longer accrue a 100% kill on a pirate. It is no longer a one shot, one kill. And a lot of folks are upset about this. There's something to be said about being able to get a one-shot kill on a boarder who is then going to be immediately sent to the ferry, and you don't have to worry about them. The gun is being changed to move away from this powerful type of gun to more of an anti-boarding weapon, something that will give a consistent knockback and vertical knockback at close range. The spread of the gun is being widened and will no longer be as potent as it once was. Each pellet now doing, I believe, 1 less % damage to a player, rounding out at about 90% from what we understand. So there are lots of reasons for this, but this is going to be something that actually ties into the idea of getting someone off your ship. With the advent of the grapple gun, it will be very interesting to see how this plays out, as that will end up giving players an opportunity to board a vessel without necessarily needing to use the ladders, which makes the silent board kind of superfluous in this situation. You're no longer allowed to board a ship without it making some sort of noise if you're using a ladder. But if that's the case, why would you need to use the ladder when the grapple gun may be the best weapon for that? Granted, how the grapple gun acts as a part of your loadout is going to be very interesting to see. I would hope that there is going to be some very big sacrifices that you're having to take if you are going to be using this in your loadout. So you may have to figure out, because I can imagine having the grapple gun and a one-shot, one-kill weapon as your loadout would be a little too powerful for the boarding party. Making it just something that you have to take into account. Now, that being said, we're not sure how the grapple gun, if it will do any damage to pirates. It may be one of those things where what it does is it actually pulls a pirate to you, which would then make the blunderbuss a little too powerful. I'm thinking like Roadhog from Overwatch, where he could grapple and then shoot and then melee someone, and in that successive number of like hits, players would end up dying in Overwatch. Something like that would be a little overpowered, I think, in Sea of Thieves, given the crack shots that are out there that can already pull off double gunning fairly well to reduce just how short of a time there is between the quick swap functionality of the Eye of Reach and the blunderbuss. But we will have to see how this goes. It's something that I think a lot of non-blunderbuss users are not going to care about, because I'm sure they're probably sick of getting one shot, one killed with this. And for myself, I have never really been all that great. I've never really gotten too many like good blunders. I'm very much the flintlock sword person. So I like getting that 50% and then hopefully a couple swipes in to get someone to be killed. Generally the sword is far too versatile in my loadout for me to feel comfortable moving away from it. Very much like the way that I'm would like to be able to move towards the throwing knife, but the accuracy with the drop on that is so hard to gauge in the middle of combat that it's really tough to feel like that's reliable. Not to say that it isn't. I do think that it is reliable. It's just a lot harder to use given the flintlock, and I still think that the double pistol is struggling to find its place in the game. So I do know that this is going to be something that a lot of people have to get used to. I am glad that they are bringing this change in with the addition of the grapple gun, because I think that is going to have to be the offset to having that one shot, one kill. It doesn't make sense in this current meta. The one shot, one kill is far too powerful without, or not too powerful. It is essential when dealing with ship to ship combat. Being able to kill someone at the top of the ladder with a blunderbuss and sending them to the ferry reduces the opportunity for you to have to worry about them just getting knocked off your boat, but you're going to have to figure something out, because if they get on the boat, that's where you can easily lose a fight to just someone who's better at that. But the one opportunity you have is that moment where they are vulnerable to boarding your ship. With the grapple gun, that removes the ladder altogether. They may not necessarily even need to use the ladder to get up onto the boat, but we'll have to see. As such, it's a lot harder for me to justify wanting to just knock someone off the boat if I'm stuck in place. If I'm stuck in place, I just want to kill them. I'm not going to be able to, or I'm not going to want to, what's it called? I'm not going to want to just knock them off the boat into the water, because they'll just swim right back and try to board once again. And if it's a larger crew, there's a good chance that I am not going to have an opportunity to get reloads in to be able to do more than just kill the one guy and be done with it. So I'm looking forward to next season, because I think that a lot of people are going to have some interesting questions and thoughts about how this is all going to turn out. My sympathies to all of the PvPers out there who've been using the blunderbuss for so long and have had this trouble. It's going to require muscle memory. It's going to require a shift in meta, but I think because we're getting sneaking and crouching and weapon changes with the grapple gun, just a slew of opportunity, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to figure out what the best way to approach combat is. It may not be just as simple as M1 spamming or quick swap, Blundy, Eye of Reach kind of thing. We may actually see some people coming up with some interesting tactics depending on how the new tools are going to work out. So hopefully everyone out there is being completely reserved and approaching this with an open mind, given that we are just getting the information right now and that it's going to be a while before we have a full grasp on what the season's actually going to play out like. But for now, we're going to have to actually see how this goes. Overall, right now, I've been having a blast with Sea of Thieves. I think the Burning Blade's one of my favorite world events to come into the game. I think once they get the fixes for being able to take down the Burning Blade or vote it down at the Reaper's hideout in combat, I think that'll fix a lot of the issues that people are having with it. I don't know if it's what I would consider still pretty strong. It is strong, but it is a world event. I think a lot of the issue is going to come down to, are people going to want to engage with this beyond just the normal commendations if they need to, or will they just kind of let this world event go and do its own thing? For the time being, I think it's kind of surprising that I've only seen one uncontested Burning Blade. And to be perfectly honest, that kind of, we haven't even really gotten that deep into the season, and having one that's uncontested, even at like nighttime where it's not that late, I was kind of surprised to see that. So we'll have to see how things go. There's definitely a lot to be said about having something as big as a Man of War for the Sea of Thieves world. But we'll just have to see what they can do to kind of continue to bring some life into this. I still kind of think that maybe there's an opportunity for them to really utilize commendations and a way to kind of build out content, so that if things do start to become a little more stagnant, they can go in and start adding some rewards that are tied to commendations for those different things. At the moment, it feels like they are consistently working on having things patched and then moving on to the next project and making sure that that team is moving forward with content that should be coming in. So it's hard to know how many teams are going to be able to go back and take a look at some of the old world events or events or things in general that they can kind of go in and add some flavor to the commendations, maybe in some instances add content to the game through engaging with that old events or stuff that they brought to the game. I think a perfect example of this is kind of the message board. Obviously, it definitely seems as though that is pretty well and dead. There's always an opportunity for them to go in and kind of add stuff to that. But it always feels like they are always marching forward onto the next plan, onto the next goal, instead of having a team that kind of goes back and looks through some of the old updates that we've had to see if there's anything that didn't really get realized or fleshed out the way they were hoping for, and can maybe try and make some pitches onto what they can do with that system in the future. We've seen them do this in the past, obviously with barrels, obviously with emotes, and how they're going to plan on doing different things to kind of change out, say like the quest table is a good example. So we know that they will kind of go back and touch up some things. Captaincy is another example I can think of where they went back and kind of touched up some of the stuff around there. But at the moment, we don't have any opportunities for certain captaincy levels or guilds that are maxed out to be able to add on a new guild. I think maybe there are some people out there that have kind of maxed out the levels on their guild and might, instead of having to delete that one or join another one, get the option to create a new guild to kind of start fresh with that kind of leveling progression system. But these are all like super long-term or die-hard kind of issues, right? These are like the quote unquote 1%ers of the game who are running into these issues. So it's very tough. I'd much rather them go back and take a look at something like the message boards and maybe even implement it into the upcoming Hunter's Call refresh. We know that a lot of these message boards are on these sea posts, and because of that, that's a great opportunity for them to start building out some of those hunting challenges that they might want to do, as far as like getting certain animals, maybe having some animals on the islands that are aggressive, as well as maybe just having a way to go on a hunt for a specific type of megalodon, obviously like the shrouded ghost withstanding there. But being able to go and try and sail around, have to complete a certain type of voyage or something, collect a certain type of animal meat and fish, to give players an opportunity to create kind of like a chumming of the waters in an area, and then to, like have that happen. Like if you get like a certain flare, like you have to go and collect X number of things, turn it into like chum, and then have that in like your bucket, and then throw the bucket overboard like you were like bailing or throwing sick on someone, and it would kind of like chum the waters, and that would be a way to summon a particular type of megalodon outside of using like Merrick's drum and the megalodon song for that. So all kinds of things that they could kind of do. I think something like that would be fantastic to kind of breathe a little more life into those message boards or those quest boards that are realistically just not being utilized as well as they could since their launch. But obviously, things like weapon balance, burning blade balance, hourglass refresh, performance and stability, things like that are always going to kind of take precedent as they're looking at, again, like their seasonal content refreshes, where we know they are going to be bringing in sneaking all kinds of like different little ways to kind of introduce more stealth based combat and just kind of go from there. But it's always kind of interesting to see what they could do. They could do a lot, and I'm hoping that they take that opportunity. All right, pirates. I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one done in the bag. I think I'm going to have a guest on for next week's episode, so we'll have to work out the timing for that. Get some thoughts and opinions in on this season. I'm still really enjoying it, having a good time with it. I really like the Ashen messages in a bottle. They just need to leave those on. Especially granting as much reputation for an emissary rank. That obviously is something that I think they're probably going to tone down if they do bring these in, but very much something that they should be doing for the game. Have more content in the roar, give us reasons to go out there. We can dive to stuff out there now, so it's a lot quicker to get there, and population should be something that increases as they continue to add value to the game. They should definitely keep the roar in mind, in my opinion, just to kind of make sure that that game or that portion of the game doesn't fall to the wayside, because otherwise at that point, where are they going to go with content if they're just keeping it to the main 3 Cs? They might as well just have the roar kind of enshrouded, have all of that content created as legacy, and build out a new biome in a different section of the world, and give breath to a whole new opportunity for us to kind of have like an ice biome or something like that. Really kind of change things up, just to kind of give us an opportunity to breathe a little more life into Sea of Thieves instead of having to do like a Sea of Thieves 2. It is very interesting nowadays to see I don't even know what that was, the dedication of the team to kind of continue with production of Sea of Thieves. Obviously, it's doing well enough to warrant that. But to give us an opportunity to have a second game would come with a whole host of issues that at the moment really aren't necessary. Some will probably argue that, but it just kind of comes down to what we know about the game and the difficulty around the code, given the logic that is in place for the water as well as sailing and all the elements in the game itself. So maybe not something as easy as being able to just make a Sea of Thieves 2. Obviously, they are still kind of working out like what Everwild is going to be, if it's going to be something, and we'll have to find out, in the future if they ever plan on kind of continuing production on that, or if they just shutter that project for now and just kind of reassess what they want to do with the future of Sea of Thieves as it kind of moves forward. But I think that's going to do it, folks. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you're all getting a chance to get in there. Make sure you're claiming your free stinger rapier in the store, in the Emporium. Make sure you're checking out those Twitch drops, getting your 5 Ashen messages in a bottle knocked out for your ruby stinger rapier as well. And yeah, try to get those chest of fortunes on the burning blade. I think this is, in my opinion, probably one of the easiest ways to get those knocked out, and still a ton of fun. So Pirates, that's going to do it. So definitely make sure, if you get a chance, don't forget about the Sherpa program in the Discord. If you need help, you want to learn more about Sea of Thieves, or just get someone to actually sail around with you to kind of explain a few things, definitely look into the Sherpa program. It is a tag for different people in the Discord, just at Sherpas, and they will see if they can help you out, bring you onto a voyage, ship, get you kind of started if you're trying to learn more about Sea of Thieves. Outside of that, Pirates, if you want to get a hold of me, there's plenty of ways to do that. Head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast if you want to get into the actual end of the month shows. Email the show at captlogun@gmail.com. You can also find me over on Threads and Twitter at CaptainLogun. Trying to think if there's any other places. The YouTube channel's out there as well too. Plenty of ways to get in touch. So hopefully you all are having a wonderful, wonderful week. And I guess that'll be it. So Pirates, thank you. I love you. And I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.